And let's talk about the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl is going to be coming up in what is it, like 2 weeks? Because I think next week is the Grammys. I cannot believe in the next couple of days. What is it? Monday? Yeah, in like 6 days, the Grammys. I totally forgot. But then I think the following week is the Super Bowl. So I'm actually looking forward to it because the Super Bowl is going to be lit this year. And I don't care about the teams or whatever the case is. I'm not a big football fan. I like my basketball and all that good stuff. But with football, I'm like, whatever. So I'm actually looking forward to the performances. One, we got Bad Bunny doing the halftime, and then we have Green Day also performing. So with that being said, Donald Trump came out with this funny ass excuse as to why he's not coming to the Super Bowl. Number one, I've never known a president who spends more time trying to go to sports events than actually doing the job that a lot of y'all voted him to put, to do, which he ain't did jack shit for y'all yet. Them price of eggs going down yet? He out here murdering white people, and now all of a sudden they've woken up. Like, oh my God, now lives matter. Y'all didn't give a fuck when Black Lives was mattering. I'm not saying all, I'm gonna say some. Y'all had every excuse under the book. When Black Lives Matter rolled around, all lives matter. When we had the thing with the knee on the neck, excuses. He was he was out here selling drugs, and he was doing this, he was doing, you had every excuse in the book. Then the white lesbian gets shot. Y'all wasn't all that. Some of y'all, not some were upset, not all. Then a heterosexual white male, because now it's hitting too close to home, was out there helping a woman and got pow-powed for no damn reason. So now we out here murdering people in cold blood. Now all of a sudden white people waking up and want us to feel sympathy and empathy. And don't get me wrong, I have empathy and sympathy for that man who lost his life. He was one of the good ones. However, miss me with the fake ass outrage when a lot of y'all all of a sudden want to wake up because one of your own is being killed, but y'all didn't have that same energy when Black lives and Latino lives and so many other lives have been taken by the police force, whether it's ICE, Homeland Security, regular PD, or the like. So I need that energy to be the same way. But we've been screaming and shouting for the rooftops for y'all to kind of come in and join us on this side. It's nice that y'all can finally join the party at the last minute, but we try to tell y'all, sit down, sit in it. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Now, in this situation, so he talking about that he's skipping the Super Bowl, not because your numbers is at an all-time low, and the fact that your own party is unraveling and are pissed off at you over a lot of the actions that you're doing, and the fact that you lost the grip on ICE and immigration, all these other things, because now you're just grabbing regular American people off the street and putting them in, prison for no reason in a couple of days, not even checking to see if y'all even have warrants, kicking in people's doors and taking them out of their homes. Yeah, these are all the things that's happening. And mainstream media, of course, is not covering this, but they're doing all these illegal things, abusing people, pulling disabled people out of their car to just trying to go to the doctor. We saw that video, and killing people in broad daylight. So now his excuse why he can't go to California is because it's too far. He can't go to the Super Bowl. Mind you, they have Air Force One and Air Force Two. He can't get his fat ass on a goddamn plane to go to California. You had no problem going to the U.S. Open, which co-workers of mine did work. I don't work the U.S. Open. That's the one I don't do because them hours just be crazy. And then it's like by the time I get out of work, they expect me to be like, I only got like maybe a couple of hours before I got to jump back. Nope, not worth it. If I was in my, if I was hungry for money and in my 20s, I would be doing that. But I'm like, nope, y'all go and have fun. And then they take so much out of your damn taxes. But yeah, so you can show up to all these things. You can do the UFC matches because funny enough, and I've seen that, I've been in the room with Donald Trump quite a few times at Madison Square Garden. He's shown up to the UFC matches, and that was when his approval ratings was great. But then that last time when his approval ratings went down, he did not show up at the last UFC event we did at Madison Square Garden, which I was actually glad about because the whole thing with us having to go through these channels, and he makes it such a headache trying to get into these venues. So in a way, we don't like when you show up. because it's a fucking headache with security and all these people that's coming up in there trying to, you can't bring this and you can't do this. It's like, no, can you just stay away? Because you can create more chaos than making the situation better. And those of us who work in the industry that have to deal with this mess. So you can show up to UFC matches, you can show up to the US Open, but you really expect us to sit and believe that, oh, it's too far. I'm like, you've told many a lies and had people convinced on that. Like, even this lie sounds just stupid. So, and then of course he dropped this news in a New York Post interview because, you know, New York Post is, as a friend of mine has called it, a cross between the National Enquirer and Mein Kampf. It gives very much that. It is a conservative paper. A lot of the stuff they fall on, it's going to be very liberal bias, because if you've seen a lot of the hit pieces, the bullshit hit pieces they write on Zoran Mamdani, it is a cackle. I just be like, fuck off, because a lot of the stuff you're saying there is a bunch of lies and BS. Y'all just suck it up. A Democratic socialist is running New York City. People are loving what the man is doing so far, and you could just stay mad. If you don't like it, you need to do like Deborah Messon, bitch ass, and fucking leave. We don't want you here. So, you and also Michael Rappaport, you could take your asses and pack the fuck up and go somewhere else where you want it, like Florida or Texas. So the 2026 Super Bowl goes down on February 8th at Levi Stadium. Okay, so it's February 8th. So yeah, there's the Grammys this weekend, and then the next week we have the Super Bowl. And look, from Washington, D.C. to California, it is about the same amount of hours that it takes to get from New York to California. It's about a 6-hour flight. So you can go to all these different places, but this is your excuse, sir? Fuck out of here. Nobody's believing that. I don't even think the maggots would be dumb. Well, I was going to say dumb enough. That within itself is an oxymoron. So he caught the Daytona 500 NASCAR race in Florida and this week's college football championship. Both events happened close to his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach. He also made it to the Ryder Club in New York last September. But Trump's got bigger issues with his Super Bowl than just travel time. I truly believe the reason why he's not showing up is because Green Day is going to be there performing and Bad Bunny is going to be there performing. And if you've been to a Green Day concert, which I have worked their show, it was awesome, where they did like the no, what was it? I think was it Dookie? Yeah, I think it was Dookie and American Idiot. They performed both of those records, and they're very much anti-Trump. Like American Idiot is very much about is anti-consumerism, anti-establishment. That was like one of my favorite albums growing up as a kid. Was I wore that CD out of America. So I'm a big Green Day fan, and also I love Bad Bunny. And you already know they're both political. They're very political in a lot of their music because, in a way, Bad Bunny, yes, he does reggaeton, but his music and his style and visuals and stuff is very punk. There's also a rumor going around that he's going to bring Kim Petras out on stage because, you know, the whole anti-trans thing. So he's going to throw it in his face. Also, there's rumors coming out he's going to wear a dress because he wants to piss a lot of the maggots off in regards of, but it's like that whole thing with football and this hyper masculine thing and him trying to, I guess, break the rules and the boundaries of this idea of hyper masculinity. Because look, quiet as is kept, there's a lot of you sports people, when you get a couple of drinks up in you, y'all do come across very gay. And a lot of stuff y'all do. So if we're going to sit up here and try to act like that all of a sudden everybody that likes football is a fan of pussy, you're a damn liar. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't even have gay sports bars in America. And I've been to quite a few. So let's not play that. Let's not play that lie in that situation. And how many straight guys have flirted with me in those situations or have made out with? You know, I don't got no shame in my old backsliding. Now, conservative social media exploded when reports surfaced about Bad Bunny's potential outfit choice. Multiple sources said the reggaeton star plans to make a cultural statement with his wardrobe. Maggots also started calling for Super Bowl boycotts, saying the dress rumors have right-wing Twitter in full meltdown mode. Thousands of NFL fans are threatening to skip the game entirely. Well, okay, well then skip, because we know y'all are a liar. What y'all gonna do is you're gonna hate watch, you're gonna get on Twitter, you're gonna start your vitriol, and then sit up there, well, I'm not watching. But then why are you in the comments making comments? So you just want to rage bait. You want to be outraged. And what is this man wearing a dress or making out with a dude or bringing a trans woman on stage, how does that affect your day? How does that shift you culturally? How does that fuck up your situation? It doesn't. You just want to be on social media. You just want to bitch. You just want to complain. You want to just whine and moan and about what? Because you're seeing something that's making you uncomfortable. And they're like, the kids, the kids, the kids. First of all, with all this shit going on social media and the things that these kids see, and the fact that you have somebody like Gavin Newsom talking about how his own son was a big Charlie Kirk fan, which goes to show you failed as a father. With all the things that's going on with all of this, it's like, how is that? How are you outraged by these things? You'd be surprised what a lot of kids see. When I was growing up, and this was pre-internet, you'd be surprised of all the things that I was seeing and I was exposed to by my classmates and stuff. So if you're thinking that you shielding these kids away from stuff and they so naive that they don't know what's going on in the world, these kids these days with social media are exposed to way more than you think that they are exposed to. And maybe you may have a full tight leash or given the illusion that you have a tight leash on your children in situations. Trust and believe the company they keep or the friends they hang around with have exposed them to way more shit than you be realizing that your kids are exposed to. I'm not, I don't make the news. I just report it. Well, this is based off experience and paying attention. So yeah, they're calling, now this is the laughable part. They're calling it the most controversial halftime show since Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction. Oh yeah, because y'all saw a black titty and got in a fucking outrage over it. But here's the thing, y'all don't even know what the hell Bad Bunny's gonna do. Nobody knew what Janet Jackson was gonna do. This was all that stuff that happened was the aftermath of Justin Timberlake, who didn't take no responsibility and got off scot-free because he tap danced for Les Moonves, perverted ass, who was doing inappropriate shit over there at CBS. Thank God the chickens came to roost on his behind. Justin Timberlake got away scot-free because he was willing to throw all the people under, but you already know for his career. And you already see like these days, people are still dragging him over it. Even though he came with the more half-ass apologies that nobody really believed. He still got his his little fandom. But, it is what it is. So, but they're calling it the most controversial halftime show since Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction. I'm like, wait a minute, we don't even know what Bad Bunny is going to do. We'll sit and talk about it when we cross that bridge and we see what the performance gives. Then we can sit up here and debate how controversial it is. Y'all going based off of rumor and hearsay. You don't even know if he's going to get there and wear a dress, or the rumors about Kim Petras coming out, if that's going to happen. You don't know what that is. Or please don't do that typical thing that a lot of these A-list celebrities do. Let me bring out a bunch of drag queens from Drag Race and have them perform because it's so, we love the gays. And it's like, no, now they got y'all out here parading around the stage in y'all little outfits like a bunch of goddamn show ponies, and it looks very performative. That's the thing that irritates me about a lot of these straight allies that want to say, oh, we want to show love to the gay community, so we're just going to put you all up on stage and drag and tap dance like a bunch of goddamn stepping fetchets. It's like, no. Please don't sit up here and, because y'all glad that y'all getting a moment and opportunity and things. It needs to feel authentic and not performative. So now they're saying that Green Day adds more fuel to the fire as the pregame performers. The punk rock trio has been changing lyrics. Of course, like, especially with American Idiot, they've always changed it. And they don't call that part redneck agenda. They use MAGA agenda. And they did it when I worked at concert. They said it. Now, Billy Joe Armstrong has, of course, spoken out against Trump's immigration policies multiple times. During a recent performance, he called the songs anti-fascism and anti-war. Now, Donald Trump insists the performances have nothing to do with, He's trying to say their performances have nothing to do with his decision to stay away. He's sticking with the distance excuse despite flying to events across the country regularly. That's why I said, if you wasn't really out here trying to show up at these events and making it about you, then it would be believable. And a lot of times he's been showing up at these sports events and have been getting booed and people being F you and all this other stuff. Like, they've literally been, and we've seen the videos online of, and Fox News will sit and change the narrative and move the goalposts and lie to y'all. That news, what's the other channel called? News Nation, Newsmax, News something. One of them, with the Chris Cuomo, that show, that channel he's on, they'll sit up in there and they'll lie to you and move the goalposts. But if you go on social media doesn't lie in regards of like the Twitters and all those other things where they post the videos and you hear the boos and stuff. So I think that's what it is. He's polling low. The only people that's still up in here thinking Trump, shit don't stink is the ones that's in the cult. But outside of that, there's a lot of people that are outraged with what's going on. They don't like the way the country is, the direction the country is going. Even though, in my opinion, basically this regime, because it's not even an administration, this regime is basically holding a mirror up to what America's always been: a bunch of bullies and colonizers. I mean, you colonized this country from my people, indigenous people, Native Americans, and built this country on the backs of slaves, which is also the other side of my ancestry. So I got the 2-for-1 special in regards to all of this. And even on top of that, had the unlitigated gall up in here rounding up Native Americans who have even more of a reason to be in this country than majority of you other people with y'all ethnicities, rounding them up and deporting them. How are you going to deport them from a place where they actually have land? They own land, they have stake in land. Well, my answer is actually because, the indigenous side, we have land in Canada and the United States. So maybe I could just run over there, get in touch with some of my ancestors. Like, y'all got space on that reservation for me out in Canada, because I'm tired of the bullshit here. So we'll see how this whole situation goes down at the Super Bowl when it airs in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing what Bad Bunny is going to do. I got to check to see if I'm working that day, so that way I'll be able to see all of this. But then again, if I'm working, I'll catch it on YouTube. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do y'all? This might be just a stupid question for me to ask, but do y'all believe this BS excuse that this president is given as to why he's not going to the Super Bowl? My thing is this: I just feel like the people don't want to see him there. The attitude, you making it all about you, it's going to be even more of a headache trying to get people in. Because I remember when people, like coworkers of mine, was like, it was a shit show when he showed up at the US Open, because how heightened security was, the people trying to get into the US Open to watch some of the matches, and they're missing out on matches because they have to go through extra situations of getting people in versus the normal of, you just scan your ticket, you go through the metal detector or whatever the case is, and you just go to wherever your seats are so you can watch the matches. Now, with the president being there, he adds an extra layer to the mess, and it makes it even more of a headache for these people to get to where they gotta go. And then on top of that, it's the numbers are dwindling in the polls, and regarding of him, his approval has gone in deeper than the toilet. I don't know how deeper down the toilet his approval rating can go, but it's down there. And all the stuff that's going on with ICE and what's happening and how they're just grabbing everybody and anybody off the damn street at this point because they got to fill a quota. It's just not looking good for him. But we all knew this disaster was coming. We just didn't know it was going to come this fast. Or maybe a lot of people just didn't think it was going to come this fast. I was just waiting for the shoe to drop. But now I will say this: I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it is now. But then again, when you literally are a walking wrecking ball and a chaos demon, what do you expect? We shouldn't be surprised. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.